What's going on, traders? Few things to talk about. We're gonna get straight into it. Like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So right now we're looking at the NASDAQ weekly time frame, and something I've been talking about all day in the Discord is how we continue to see the NASDAQ, and not only the NASDAQ but the triple Qs reject this trend line on the weekly time frame. We bounced here, we bounced here, we bounced here, we broke down here, and now we are retesting this trend line. Not only are we retesting this trend line, but we're seeing the NASDAQ and the triple Qs reject this trend line as well. Now, it's not a convincing rejection just yet, so we're not going to marry the idea that we're just going to immediately see downside from here. It's very much possible that we see upside from here, but I'm not going to marry the idea of calls until we break above this trend line and mount it, right? And so if we look to the left here, we see that we have, or we had, a double bottom. So here you have a bottom here and you have another bottom here, and then your neckline is between 19,700, 20,000. Highest you could potentially go is 20,300 if we're going to continue to see more upside. It's also important to note that the 50 SMA is at around 20,200, 20,300 when it comes to the weekly time frame on the NASDAQ. Now, if we go to the 4-hour time frame here, you see since last Friday, April 25th, I believe, you've seen since last Friday, since last Thursday, you've seen that the NASDAQ has continued to reject this trend line. So you guys know that I don't make this stuff up. I just give you guys what the charts give me. And so you see we rejected here. We had a somewhat of a rejection here. We rejected here, and then we rejected here all day today, right? So one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that if bears continue to step in, bulls are eventually going to give up, and then we're going to gather liquidity back towards the downside and possibly head back towards the upside for another try at breaking out of this area here. But if bears continue to step in and bears continue to gain control, then obviously we're going to head towards this gap fill all the way at 18,400, 18,500 range. So that's something you want to pay attention to. So me personally, I don't trade consolidation. I hate consolidation. It's just a premium eater in my opinion. I only trade volatility. That's where the money is. All right. So a lot of people or Discord members sometimes ask me if I'm trading today. This is not something I'm going to trade, right? So that's just me. Do what you want. All right. And so that's what I'm looking at when it comes to the NASDAQ. Now, when we look at the triple Qs, you're pretty much looking at the same scenario, right? So you go to the weekly time frame here, and again, you're having a hard time breaking this trend line here on the triple Qs, right? So again, you bounced here, you bounced here, you bounced here, you broke down, and now you're currently retesting this trend line. Now, on the bright side, you are mounted above some pretty serious levels here. You're mounted above that 467 level, 460, what is that, 467.9 level. So yeah, that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good if we're looking to be bullish. But again, we're still having a hard time breaking above this trend. And if we can't get above this trend, this can easily lead into a bull trap, and then we break back towards the downside. So definitely want to be careful here. And we did get a glimpse of bears trying to step in and break us further down today. Right, so you definitely want to be careful here. So when it comes to the triple Qs, as long as we stay above that 468 level, we do have potential to head as high as the 485, 490 range, right? But if we break back below this level and we actually close below this level, then we are opening up the floodgates back towards 450s. All right, so we definitely want to be careful here. Now, when I say open up the floodgates, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to head towards that target. It just means that there is space and opportunity to head towards that target. Why? Because we're very illiquid in this area, right? So if we manage to break below 467, I would say, just to be safe, then you open up the gates towards 450s. All right, so definitely want to be careful there when it comes to the triple Qs. Now, we go back to the daily time frame here. Again, you see that we're getting pretty close to the death cross, right? Or at least the 50 SMA when it comes to the death cross, which is this yellow trend line right here. So if we do retest this trend line or the death cross here, I would urge to be cautious. This is around 478, 480, right? I would definitely urge to be cautious, because either we hit this 50 SMA or we hit the 200. Either one is very much possible, and then we just wick back towards the downside. Yes, I still think we're going to see another low, if not another low, a double bottom sometime within the month of May, maybe even sooner. Now, if the market just so happens to prove me wrong, that's completely fine. But in order for the market to really prove me wrong, I would like to see the triple Qs mount and hold above 500. And then from there, we can start talking about all-time highs. But until that happens, I'm still leaning towards more downside within the near future. Again, I don't think we're going to leave these gaps open before we hit all-time highs or anything crazy like that. I think we're going to at least at the minimum fill these gaps before we even start talking about all-time highs. Maybe I'm wrong, who knows. But ultimately, just be careful here. You can easily get bull trapped here, but if you don't get bull trapped, you just want to see, or if this is not a bull trap, you just want to see us mount and hold above this trend line right here. I would say around 480, maybe 480, and then from there you want to see how the triple Qs reacts to the 50 SMA, right? So that's what I'm looking at when it comes to the triple Qs. And so I'm going to talk about IWM. Someone was like, I don't see you talking about IWM anymore. It's like, I rarely talk about IWM because it's very boring. Like, despite how much I like trading IWM, it's actually pretty boring. Like, so there's not much to talk about when it comes to this thing. It moves like a freaking snail. So yeah, that's why I don't really talk about it. It's not, it's never been a common theme on my channel to talk about IWM, but I'll talk about it, right? Or at least I'll try to talk about it more. But again, this thing is kind of boring. So you do have a rising wedge pattern. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So you do have a rising wedge pattern here forming on the Russell, right? And your key level here is 196. We see that we are continuously rejecting this key level 196 over and over. Not only that, but we rejected the top of this rising wedge. So, but that doesn't mean we're going to head down, right? Not yet, at least. We want to see the Russell give up 192. If it gives up 192, then obviously you're looking at a move towards 190, and then from there you get pretty illiquid towards the downside. Or I wouldn't say 190. 190 is obviously your psych level, but you want to see 189 get broken, and then from there you're pretty illiquid. And from there, I do imagine you're going to head towards this gap fill all the way at around 183, 184 range. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't talk about the Russell because I'm avoiding it. I don't talk about it because it's just boring. Like, it's not something fun to talk about, right? It's just, it moves like a snail. Like, so that's just me. I don't know. But ultimately, Russell, I don't see a reason why mid caps would even pump crazy towards the upside. A lot of people are talking about all-time highs and all that stuff. I just don't see that happening anytime soon, at least not now. Yeah, but I don't think, like I said in the Discord, I think I said this in the Discord, I don't think that anything as far as Russell is going to pump until, or like pump towards all-time highs until we get rate cuts. That's what I think. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, so I don't know. If you like IWM, I'm sorry, I'm not the channel that's going to keep talking about it because I just think there's way more interesting things to talk about. All right, so Apple. So I pretty much warned about Apple here, and it's not like Apple can't continue towards the upside, but like I said before, Apple is having a hard time, and I told Discord members that I'm watching Apple right now. I want to see how it reacts to these guys right here. These bears are very much present here. And Apple is having a hard time getting above these guys, and I would say at around 213. If you want Apple to head towards the upside or continue towards the upside, 213 is your key level. If you mount and hold above 213, then the floodgates open towards 220. But for now, I do think it's very much possible that at any given moment these guys can step in. So that is why I'm not interested in trading calls right now when it comes to Apple, at least for the short term, until I see Apple break and hold above these guys right here. And I think we saw this before when it comes to Apple. Let me actually go to the daily time frame. Yeah, so candles like this, like see right here, yeah, you don't trade calls against this, right? Because look what happened over here, right? So that's why I'm not interested in calls right now when it comes to the market as well. You can say I'm missing out, you can say what you want, but if we're talking about Apple being one of the leading big tech stocks when it comes to the market, especially when they have earnings coming up, I would not trade against this just yet. All right, until we mount above this. Again, this is a perfect example, and I think we saw the same type of candle on Nvidia as well, right? These candles right here, I wouldn't trade against, right? You can take a risk by all means, do what you want, but these type of candles where bears are extremely present, I'm not interested in. All right, so yes, we can fill this gap, but I would not jump the gun. That's just me, until we break and hold above 213, and then from there you're definitely looking at a move towards 220. And if we're talking about Nvidia, again, I think Nvidia had the same thing happen to it, right? So yeah, right here. So what's happening? What am I doing? Oh my gosh. All right, so yeah, when it comes to Nvidia, yeah, same thing, right? You had this big, massive bearish candle just sitting in the middle of nowhere, and as you guys can see, every time we got up here within this range, Nvidia rejected towards the downside. So yeah, that's what I'm pretty much talking about when it comes to Apple, right? So definitely want to be careful trying to get into calls with Apple. It's not me trying to be biased or anything. I just showed you guys tons of proof that you can continue to reject from this area, and maybe Apple is not ready to fill this gap just yet. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And then that leads me to the VIX. And so the VIX has this inverted hammer pattern right here. It just keeps forming inverted hammer patterns. So definitely something's definitely about to happen. I just don't know what. But when you look at the VIX, you are holding this support level or this gap fill level here at around 25, 24.8. Not only that, but you're holding the 50 SMA as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But if we go to the 4-hour time frame, the VIX has a decent amount of gaps towards the upside. So it's kind of crazy that we're talking about all-time highs when you have all these gaps towards the upside on the VIX, right? So you definitely want to be careful. Not only that, but you just have a lot of gaps on the downside when it comes to the SPY, triple Qs, a lot of the big tech stocks. So that's why I'm not at the point of talking about all-time highs, because at any given moment, whether you like the VIX or not, the VIX can just spike. Like it can just do this, fill these gaps, and then do this. Like it can do some crazy stuff. Like the VIX can really, really just destroy everybody, right? And even today, our Discord bot continues to alert. And for like the past week or so, our Discord bot keeps alerting that institutions are jumping to VIX calls, like 60 strike calls, 30 strike calls. Today, we saw that institutions jumped into 27 strike calls. Let me actually find it here, right? And so we zoom, yeah, right here. So 27 strike calls for June 18th, 2025, right? And today, this came today at 10:43 a.m. And so if we look at the VIX spiked all the way towards about 27, right? 26.91, this candle right here. And this candle started at 10:10 Eastern time. So, yeah, Discord bot is pretty good. Okay, it's really good, and it's very rare that the VIX is alerted in here and it doesn't play out. Like very rare, right? So we saw the 27 strike calls play out, 26.9. Maybe the VIX can head higher than 27. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, someone definitely got their money's worth. And this was alerted when the VIX was still at like 25. So and then we saw that spike, and then we saw the market drop towards the upside. So I mean not drop towards the downside, right? And then from there, we kind of recovered and we ended up right back where we were. So yeah, don't sleep on the VIX. Don't sleep on institutions buying the VIX. I tell Discord members, anytime you see the Discord bots alert any type of VIX calls, you might want to hold off on any type of calls within the market. All right, or at least take profit if you see these type of alerts popping up. So that's just me. All right, but ultimately that's really all I have. Let's talk about Bitcoin real quick. Um, so when it comes to Bitcoin, again, 95K guys. If you can't break above 95K, then you're just going to head back towards 90K and probably gather liquidity there. So yeah, Bitcoin is having a hard time breaking above 95K. A lot of people in my Bitcoin videos like oof or saying like stupid stuff like that just because it can't break above 95K. Like I wasn't saying Bitcoin is just going to head straight towards all-time highs. I was saying that in order for Bitcoin to start even considering all-time highs, it needs to break above key levels. It's amazing how that goes over people's heads. When I talk about key levels, it's like they don't hear that, right? So key level is 95K. We continue to see Bitcoin have a hard time. You can even argue 96K if you want, right? Because we're continuing seeing Bitcoin get above 95K and then reject around 96K, right? But 95K is your psych level here. Until Bitcoin mounts and holds above 95K, there is no reason to be bullish just yet. All right, you can be neutral, but I will not be bullish until you break above 95K. So respect the levels, right? Always respect the levels. I tell Discord members this all the time. And if you jump the gun, just understand that you are taking a major risk. So 95K, still your key level when it comes to Bitcoin. Until that happens, there's no reason to be bullish. If anything, just be neutral and wait to see what happens. All right. And that's pretty much all I have when it comes to this video. Discord link will be in the description below. We got a lot of earnings coming up this week. I'm probably going to make a video on Amazon. Let me know what you guys think about that. Would you like me to go over Amazon? I think I've said all I could say about Apple, guys. I mean, Apple historically pumps into its earnings and then historically dumps for its earnings, or it just Ivy crushes the world for its earnings. Why? Because they never report guidance, right? So it's just like shocker, right? So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm always interested in a lot of your thoughts. A lot of you say a bunch of interesting things. Some of you say a bunch of nothing that has no evidence behind it, but by all means, do your thing. All right. Until the next video, traders, have a good one.